Good day, you guys. This is Yin Yang, sitting a little lower today with morsels of a thought number 1573. Today it is the 1573rd day that I have come to you consecutively, no breaks, no holidays, to try to make you have a great day and to try to impart morsels of a thought of good wisdom. Wisdom is the right thing to wisdom is knowing the right thing to do. That's wisdom. Doing it is called virtue. And if we do the right thing, then we're bringing virtue into the world, you know. Um I want to sit higher so I can see that freaking clock. Or maybe I can bring the clock down to where I can actually see it so I don't mess up. And and you guys know my secrets and everything already, so I in particularly have to be careful with my clocks. Anyway, my clocks give me a time and a break and a break. And I want to read from the Book of Virtues by William J. Bennett today. I have a few messages I'd like to bring across today, and one of them in particular is about virtue. Well, they are all about virtue. So we shall start. Let's start with persevere. Persevere. Um, Give me a bookmark, Mary. Okay, Mary. All right, here we are. Persevere. Stick to itiveness has a lot to do with getting the right answers in math, English, history, and life, as young Americans of the turn of the 20th century learned when they memorized this little verse from their McGuffey's Reader. The fisher who draws in his net too soon won't have any fish to sell. The child who shuts up his book too soon won't learn any lessons well. If you would have your learning stay, be patient, don't learn too fast. The man who travels a mile each day may get around the world at last. Isn't that nice? I'm I'm too young to have heard this. McGuffey's Reader. McGuffey's Reader. Hmm, interesting. Okay. There are people who have read it, though, I am sure. My nose is itching. That means somebody's thinking about me. I know. I don't know who's thinking about me. Good morning, John Clark. Good day, afternoon, good morning, Colleen Dracos, Gina Portoff, and good morning, Debbie Baza. Good morning, um, um, Odette Minders, and good morning, Mary Beth Carswell. The tortoise and the hare. As Aesop knew, persevere. Oh, by the way, did everybody know that Aesop got run over the edge of a cliff by all of his neighbors because he was telling stories that everybody recognized themselves in and they were all mad? Do you know that's how he died? Well, that's how he died. Anyway, as Aesop knew, perseverance makes up for all sorts of disadvantages. Here, I don't know why I told you that. Here is a case of virtue outdistancing undisciplined ability. A hare once made fun of a tortoise. What a slow way you have, he said. How you creep along. Do I? Said the tortoise. Try a race with me and I'll beat you. What a boaster you are, said the hare. But come, I will race with you. Whom shall we ask to mark off the finish line and see that the race is fair? Let us ask the fox, said the tortoise. The fox was very wise and fair. He showed them where they were to start and how far they were to run. The tortoise lost no time. He started out at once and jogged straight on. The hare leaped along swiftly for a few minutes till he had left the tortoise far behind. He knew he could reach the mark very quickly, so he lay down by the road under a shady tree and took a nap. By and by he awoke and remembered the race. He sprang up and ran as fast as he could, but when he reached the mark, the tortoise was already there. Slow and steady wins the race, said the fox. Interesting, 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 interesting. The little steam engine. The story of the little engine that said, I think I can, has been entertaining children for generations and adults as well, I will say. This version, which comes from an early 20th century reader, offers a portrait of self resolve as well as cooperation. It reminds us that we get through the hardest times and tasks by pushing and pulling together. Pushing and pulling together. Meanwhile, let me push and pull something right now before anything goes off because timers are going to start screaming and I don't want that to happen. So while I am at it, I'm going to put on the do not disturb lights on everything I have. So that there was a break of 8 minutes, I say. Next, we have another 8 minutes. Ha ha ha. Okay. I'm telling you all my secrets. Um, oops. Okay, new bookmark. A little steam engine had a long train of cars to pull. She went along very well till she came to a steep hill. But then, no matter how hard she tried, she could not move the long train of cars. She pulled and she pulled. She puffed and she puffed. She backed and started off again. Choo, 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 choo. But no, the cars would not go up the hill. At last she left the train and started up the track alone. Do you think she had stopped working? No, indeed. She was going for help. Surely I can find someone to help me, she thought. Over the hill and up the track went the little steam engine. Choo, 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 choo. Pretty soon she saw a steam engine standing on a side track. He looked very big and strong. Running alongside, she looked up and said, Will you help me over the hill with my train of cars? It is so long and so heavy that I can't get it over. The big steam engine looked down at the little steam engine. Then he said, Don't you see that I am through my day's work? I have been all rubbed and scoured, all ready for my next run. No, I cannot help you. The little steam engine was sorry, but she went on. Choo, 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 choo. Soon she came to a big steam engine standing on a side track. He was puffing and puffing as if he were tired. He may help me, thought the little steam engine. She ran alongside and asked, Will you help me bring my train of cars over the hill? It is so long and so heavy that I can't get it over. The second big steam engine answered, I have just come in from a long, long run. Don't you see how tired I am? Can't you get some other engine to help you this time? I'll try, said the little steam engine, and off she went. Choo, 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 choo. After a while, she came to a little steam engine just like herself. She ran alongside and said, Will you help me over the hill with my train of cars? It is so long and so heavy that I can't get it over. Yes, indeed, said the second little steam engine. I'll be glad to help you if I can. So the little steam engines started back to where the train of cars had been standing all this time. One little steam engine went to the head of the train, the other to the end of it. Puff, puff, chug, chug, choo, choo. Off they started. Slowly, the cars began to move. Slowly, they climbed the steep hill. As they climbed, each little steam engine began to sing, I think I can, 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 I think I can. And they did. Very soon they were over the hill and going down the other side. Now they were on the plain again, and the little steam engine could pull her train herself. So she thanked the little engine who had come to help her and said goodbye. As she went merrily on her way, she sang to herself, I thought I could. 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 There we are. That was a good story, wasn't it? Here's another story called Try, Try Again. 'Tis a lesson you should heed. Try, try again. If at first you don't succeed, try, try again. Then your courage should appear, for if you will persevere, you will conquer, never fear. Try, try again. That's good. That one needed no introduction. Here's an introduction on Aesop, the crow, and the pitcher. This is the famous fable from Aesop, which tells us where there's a will accompanied by practical intelligence, there's a way. Once there was a thirsty cow. She had flown a long way looking for water to drink. Once there was a thirsty crow. She had flown a long way too, looking for water to drink. Suddenly she saw a pitcher. She flew down and saw it held a little water, but it was so low in the pitcher that she could not reach it. But I must have that water, she cried. I am too weary to fly farther. What shall I do? I know, I'll tip the pitcher over. She beat it with her wings, but it was too heavy. She could not move it. Then she thought a while. I know now. I will break it. Then I will drink the water as it pours out. How good it will taste. With beak and claws and wings, she threw herself against the pitcher, but it was too strong. The poor crow stopped to rest. What shall I do now? I cannot die of thirst with water close by. There must be a way, if only I had wit enough to find it out. After a while, the crow had a bright idea. There were many small stones lying about. She picked them up one by one and dropped them into the pitcher. Slowly, the water rose till at last she could drink it. How good it tasted! There is always a way out of hard places, said the crow, if only you have the wit to find it. It's cute. It's very, very cute. I'll bet in nature somebody really saw a crow doing it. I wouldn't be surprised at all. Okay, so this series of stories is really, really good. Adapted from Etta Austin Blaisdell and Mary Frances Blaisdell, The Little Hero of Holland. Here is true fortitude, someone doing his duty despite pain and loneliness and danger, someone willing to hold on, hold fast, and hold out as long as it takes, someone whose resolution outweighs even the weight of the sea. Holland is a country where much of the land lies below sea level. Only great walls called dikes keep the North Sea from rushing in and flooding the land. For centuries, the people of Holland have worked to keep the walls strong so that their country will be safe and dry. Even the little children know the dikes must be watched every moment so that a hole no larger than your finger can be a very dangerous thing. Many years ago, there lived in Holland a boy named Peter. Peter's father was one of the men who tended the gates in the dikes, called sluices. He opened and closed the sluices so that ships could pass out of Holland's canals into the Great Sea. One afternoon in the early fall, when Peter was 8 years old, his mother called him from his play. Come, Peter, she said, I want you to go across the dike and take these cakes to your friend, the blind man. If you go quickly and do not stop to play, you will be home again before dark. The little boy was glad to go on such an errand and started off with a light heart. He stayed with the poor blind man a little while to tell him about the walk along the dike and about the sun and the flowers and the ships far out at sea. Then he remembered his mother's wish that he should return before dark, and, bidding his friend goodbye, he set out for home. As he walked beside the canal, he noticed how the rains had swollen the waters and how they beat against the side of the dike, and he thought of his father's gates. I am glad they are so strong, he said to himself. If they gave way, what would become of us? These pretty fields would be covered with water. Father always calls them the angry waters. I suppose he thinks they are angry at him for keeping them out so long. As he walked along, he sometimes stopped to pick the pretty blue flowers that grew beside the road, or to listen to the rabbits' soft tread as they rustled through the grass. But oftener he smiled as he thought of his visit to the poor blind man who had so few pleasures and was always so glad to see him. Suddenly, he noticed that the sun was setting and that it was growing dark. Mother will be watching for me, he thought, and he began to run toward home. Just then he heard a noise. It was the sound of trickling water. He stopped and looked down. There was a small hole in the dike, through which a tiny stream was flowing. Any child in Holland is frightened at the thought of a leak in the dike. Peter understood the danger at once. If the water ran through a little hole, it would soon make a larger one, and the whole country would be flooded. In a moment he saw what he must do. Throwing away his flowers, he climbed down the side of the dike and thrust his finger into the tiny hole. The flowing of the water was stopped. That's good. Mm, I'm going to say, I need to scratch my nose. Somebody's thinking about me again. I wonder who that is. Somebody tall. John Jones. Yes. Oh, he said to himself. The angry waters must stay back now. I can keep them back with my finger. Holland shall not be drowned while I am here. This was all very well at first, but it soon grew dark and cold. The little fellow shouted and screamed, come here, he called, but no one heard him. No one came to help him. It grew colder, and his arm ached and began to grow stiff and numb. He shouted again, will no one come? Mother, mother. But his mother had looked anxiously along the dike road many times since sunset for her little boy, and now she had closed and locked the cottage door, thinking that Peter was spending the night with his blind friend, and that she would scold him in the morning for staying away from home without her permission. Peter tried to whistle, but his teeth chattered with the cold. He thought of his brother and sister in their warm beds and of his dear father and mother. I must not let them be drowned, he thought. I must stay here until someone comes if I have to stay all night. The moon and stars looked down on the child crouching on a stone on the side of the dike. His head was bent and his eyes were closed, but he was not asleep, for every now and then he rubbed the hand that was holding back the angry sea. I'll stand it somehow, he thought, so he stayed there all night keeping the water out. Early the next morning, a man going to work thought he heard a groan as he walked along the top of the dike. Looking over the edge, he saw a child clinging to the side of the great wall. What's the matter? He called. Are you hurt? I'm keeping the water back, Peter yelled. I tell them to come quickly. The alarm was spread. People came running with shovels, and the hole was soon mended. They carried Peter home to his parents, and before long the whole town knew how he had saved their lives that night. To this day, they have never forgotten the brave little hero of Holland. Isn't that wonderful? A little baby. Little baby knows. A little baby knows. Little baby knows. Isn't it cute? Okay, so we shall read another story here. You mustn't quit. When things go wrong, as they sometimes will, when the road you're trudging seems all uphill, when the funds are low and the debts are high, and you want to smile, but you have to sigh. When care is pressing you down a bit, rest if you must, but never quit. Life is queer with its twists and turns, as every one of us sometimes learns, and many a failure turns about when he might have won if he'd stuck it out. Stick to your task, though the pace seems slow. You may succeed with one more blow. Success is failure turned inside out, the silver tint of the clouds of doubt, and you can never tell how close you are. It may be near when it seems afar. So stick to the fight when you're the hardest hit. It's when things seem worst that you mustn't quit. It's in big letters, very big letters. You mustn't quit. All right, all right. Let's make sure this stays up here. I hope it stays up there. Okay. Now, in the Tao means the way. It means reason. It means a path, an open path, not blockages. The Tao, when we say Tao, it means that the way is open and there is a path through your troubles. Men are born soft and supple. Dead, they are stiff and hard. Plants are born tender and pliant. Dead, they are brittle and dry. Thus, whoever is stiff and inflexible is a disciple of death. Whoever is soft and yielding is a disciple of life. The hard and stiff will be broken. The soft and supple will prevail. As it acts in the world, the Tao is like the bending of a bow. The top is bent downward, the bottom is bent up. It adjusts excess and deficiency so that there is perfect balance. It takes from what is too much and gives to what isn't enough. Those who try to control, who use force to protect their power, go against the direction of the Tao. They take from those who don't have enough and give to those who have far too much. The master can keep giving because there is no end to her wealth. She acts without expectation, succeeds without taking credit. She doesn't think that she is better than anyone else. So it means don't have a bottom line. Be ready to flex with the wind. Just like that tree, that story of the reed, a big tree trunk that gets blown over because of the storm, but the reed gets blown and blown and blown and blown and blown, but at the end of the storm, it's still there. So, okay, I will talk to you again later. Yes, I have a cold. I will still be here tomorrow, and I will talk to you again. Old Kinderhook.